Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video. I, male 27, accidentally that discovered proof via T-Mobile data that my girlfriend, female 34, of 5 years and mother of my son has exchanged 1,400 plus text and photos with a guy from a town over that she absolutely denies. Using T-Mobile data, I accidentally discovered evidence that my girlfriend of 5 years and my son's mother had exchanged more than 1,400 text and image conversations with a guy from another town, which she completely denies. I'm writing in part to express my dissatisfaction and in part to seek advice. I'm still reeling from the incident, and my thoughts are racing through my head with what if scenarios that seem to be getting worse as time goes on, taking my attention away from everything else I should be doing. I recently discovered over 1,400 texts, photographs, and phone conversations that were exchanged between her girlfriend's phone and a guy's phone from the next town over, all going back a little more than a month. My T-Mobile account shows the kind of message, the number and the date, but not the actual words or images that were included in the communication. I'm not sure how long this has been going on since she was on a different phone plan before to this incident. When I confronted her about it, she said she had no recollection of this phone number or any conversations with this individual. Without her knowledge, all of the records of her phone calls and texts have been deleted, which can only be explained if they were manually erased. Despite her attempts to provide justifications, such as the fact that her mother was using her phone, there were instances in which both myself and another individual were messaged at the same time. It doesn't make sense unless her mother was impersonating her and communicating with me and this other individual. Even if they were conversing on the phone, I'm certain that her mother was not there at any of the periods during which these chats and image exchanges took place. Her flimsy reasons and complete lack of recall of her conversations with this individual do not add up. Until the end of time, she will continue to reject everything that comes her way. Date, on the other hand, does not lie. It is people who do. As of right now, even if she hadn't been having an affair with another guy behind my back, I've come to the conclusion that our relationship would not have worked out due to a lack of a strong foundation of trust and open communication between us. She has consistently shown that she is untrustworthy and unreliable. For example, she believes it is completely okay to go on a binge and then vanish for a day or more at a time without making any contact with me to let me know she is all right, where she is, or when she plans to return to her house. I work away from home, and not knowing who is looking after our child since I'm unable to connect with her is really frustrating. Although I have expressed my concern about our communication and we have spoken about it, she continues to behave in the same manner and seems surprised when we disagree again, despite my efforts to enhance communication. After the many years we've spent together, I've come to the conclusion that she really lacks the ability to comprehend my point of view or the consequences of her actions. She either doesn't understand or is unwilling to entertain other points of view. It's out of her story or nothing. It doesn't help that she doesn't work much and doesn't have a vehicle, that I had to pay her traffic ticket in order for her license to be reissued, and a slew of other things. Since I work my tail off as a full-time engineering tech at Intel while still attending school full-time on the GI Bill, I am able to pay for almost everything. However, we are attempting to live the American dream only to have this happen. There have been more than 5 years wasted in an unsuccessful effort to adapt what started as a young and exciting but stormy relationship into a loving family bond. Although it may not seem like much to some of you, it is a significant amount. There are many little things that accumulate over time, and the same old issues reoccur again and time again, regardless of how they are addressed. It's almost like nature is cyclical in this way. The straw that finally broke the camel's back is, in a way, this. We've overcome a lot of challenges in the past, but I'm not sure I can keep up the pace. That's not to mention that all of the money and work I've put into locating a place for us will be wasted on paying for a lawyer so that my time with my child is not limited by her vindictive behavior. Do you think that data recovery professionals would be able to retrieve the lost messages from the Android device? The fact that I don't know is driving me nuts at this point. All I want is to see the truth beneath the illusions, no matter how painful it may be. Although I understand what has to be done, doing it in the knowledge of what will follow is very difficult. What would you do if you were in this situation? What are your thoughts? Edit, you're correct. I shouldn't concentrate on acquiring the text message information. I have more pressing matters to attend to, such as finding a counsel. It hurts to let it go and not know the whole truth, but it's not as essential as spending time with my kid and asserting my rights as his father. Update 1. I've selected a number of legal firms that I'll contact first thing in the morning when they open. The goal is to evaluate them all and choose the one that I feel will be the most appropriate for the situation before proceeding with the paperwork. In the area, the usual retainer fee is between $5,000 and $10,000 per hour. Exactly how much of it will be devoted to this drama will be determined only by how hard she fights me on it. My initial goal is to attain 50/50 since my current employment and school schedule, which allows me to provide for my child and pay for bills, will not allow me to care for him on a more frequent basis than I already do. My family is not in the neighborhood to help with daycare, and I cannot afford to hire a full-time nanny to care for my children. This situation is aggravated by the fact that my place of employment is around 300 miles away from my residence. I normally stay at work for 3 to 4 days before going home for the weekend. The other 3 or 4 days of the week, I am at home all day, and keeping an eye on him isn't a difficult thing to do. In order to address this problem, I'm considering remote work as a solution, but since my GIP demands me to be hands-on in the engineering lab, this may not be feasible. Update 2. A DNA test was conducted a few years ago and revealed that my son is mine. In the unfortunate event that we are unable to resolve this issue via mediation before going to court, I have been informed that, since the DNA testing was not completed in accordance with a court order, it will be necessary for it to be done again. Because it is fairly priced and provides results in a short period of time, it is not a major concern. That is excellent advice, and I've personally encountered some men who have had the scenario backfire on them, so thank you to those who made that suggestion. Update 3. I feel obligated to maintain in contact with her since she is the only one who can keep me in touch with my 2-year-old child who lives with her. Communication between parents is essential for our child's well-being and will be seen favorably in court if we are unable to achieve an agreement via mediation. I merely make sure that my words are neutral in tone and to the point, and that I avoid baited phrases and other such tactics. As a result, I was able to watch a couple videos of my son running about and being his gorgeous self, which is usual practice for my wife to send me when I'm away on work. That was just fantastic. Story 2. My cheating ex called me 2 years later. My 31 male, ex-girlfriend, 29 female, found me and wanted to hang out, but when she crushed my heart, I basically ignored her. Backstory, let's name her Casey, and we met in college in 2015. We had so many things in common that we became fast friends. She invited me out, and we had a fantastic relationship, or so I thought. We had dreams together, exchanged pictures every now and then, and we do a lot of things together, not yet. I planned to propose to her over the Christmas season of 2019 after I had given her parents and siblings presents. I even gave her mother, who despises me, a present. Casey works at a hospital. Therefore, she'll be able to get off work later, or so I thought. She didn't arrive to her parents' house until 5 p.m., but I arrived and decided to give everyone presents. When I give her younger sister 20F, let's call her Sherry, a laptop, she tears up and hugs me, since she has always wanted one for school. Casey's father received a new BBQ grill. Sherry told me I couldn't take it any longer, and burst into tears. I inquired as to what was the situation. She drew me into her room right away, and her father joined her. Sherry continued repeating, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I couldn't figure out why. She then displayed a pregnancy test and informed me that it belonged to Casey. I absolutely lost it and wanted to know why and how long the affair had lasted. Sherry informs me that the affair occurred in the start of 2019. She went to visit him when I was working hard at my manufacturing job. Making things worse, Casey's mother was the one who showed Casey the AP. Casey apparently discovered she was pregnant in November and asked Sherry not to tell anybody when Sherry discovered the test. My life came crumbling down when she told me everything, and I chose to leave. But before I went, I expressed my gratitude to Sherry and her father, let's call him Max. Max apologized and said he would understand if I left. We shook hands and I thanked him. I simply stared at Casey's mother and drove away from my ex's home without looking back. Max and Sherry were enraged with Casey's mother, let's call her Jane. Around 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve, I told my family of what had occurred, and they all consoled me. At 11 p.m., my phone started ringing with phone calls and text messages From my ex suggesting she could explain, I didn't respond. I changed my phone number, canceled my social media accounts, and changed my email address. I didn't want to see her face as much as I wanted closure. Fast forward to the middle of 2020, when one of my pals told me that the AP who got Casey pregnant fled after learning he was the father, Karma, and they're on the lookout for him. I just said, who cares? Last month, I received a call from a number I had never seen before. I responded, and it was my ex. My ex implored me to encourage her into giving her a shot at my favorite restaurant. Why should I reasoned, after what you had done? She rambled on, and I simply ignored her since I didn't want to go through the same ordeal she had. Casey started gaslighting me, her friends, and her mother called me a coward for not seeing her again. I told Jane, how could you say that after what you've done? She rambled on, so I simply hung up and blocked Jane's and my ex's phone numbers. When I told her friends what had occurred, they left me alone.